Hey folks, I'm back. This will probably be pretty short, although in practice, every time I say something's going to be short, it ends up being at least an hour. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what short means. I last time I left off, I was confused about how to use proto lens, and I figured out a couple of things. One is that the way that you set this the status code from an enum is just like this. So I said code is equal to unknown, where unknown is one of the enum values, another value is okay, and that just compiles. So the enum gets turned into I guess you would call like a sum type, and for whatever reason you don't need the p in front of it. Um, and then I can create a status which has the code, uh, and I just call from enum. So I call from enum on the human, the machine acceptable okay thing, for example, and that turns it into an integer. However, p.code is an int 32, and this enum turns the from enum is an int. So I need to call from integral on it, which is mildly unpleasant, but not horribly unpleasant. And then the other thing I figured out was I was really confused why the ProtoLens tutorial didn't have a straightforward example of just creating a message that was not like one of these edge cases. And the reason is that they do have an example. It's under it's under person, but you can't control F for it because it's not in the same document. It links to another document. So like if you scroll down here, you ultimately get a def message. And that's what I was that's why I wasn't finding it. I was trying to do control F, and control F wasn't cutting it. So now we have these so now we can at least create status codes. I should probably make some helper methods for dealing with codes. And I guess that I will. They don't really belong in this folder, but I guess I'll put them here, and maybe I'll move them later. So I'll say module status. That's spelled correctly. And then all of the stuff here, I'll have to replicate. And then what else? I need lens micro. And proto lens. And then I need to rectify the build things. I'm just going to grab this and what did I call it? Status. And just delete everything that doesn't look statusy, like directory, file path, process, network URI. And then it depends on code and status protos. So that looks promising. Let's see if that builds. Yeah. Okay, and then now I have to figure out what kind of like API I want for this, but I guess what I want to do is so I'll have this signature, the same that's below, but it'll take a code and a message, which I think is probably a string or a text. Let's find out. Code is okay. So message is data.text.text. Can I import that as text? And then I need to make sure it's in my dependencies here. So it'll take a, where is it here? A status and a text. No, it won't. It'll take a code and a text and return a status. And we'll just call it def message. And this is literally just going to be the same. And then p.message is just going to be, it's just going to be whatever the message is. Could not find module. What about just data.txt? Can you find that? Yeah. And what are the capitalization conventions in Haskell? And why does KDE keep doing this to me? Come on, KDE. Don't mess me up like this. So Haskell function name. I think in general, what is it? Functions are lowercase. And then like type objecty things are uppercase. Yeah, I'm not really able to talk for more than 2 minutes without coughing. So this will probably have to be short. But maybe what I can do is do a couple of these. What I really want is the proto. So Google RPC proto. Maybe maybe it's easier to get it from the generated file. Yeah. Okay. So just for each of these, let's I don't think I have like a 2 camel case method, do I? Let's see. What if we just did this? Okay. That is relatively painless. But can I highlight them? All right. First of all, this should be p.code. So what I'll do, just for the sake of cheating as much as I can, why don't I do OK status? And it'll just take a message, and the code will be okay, and we'll set it like that. Actually, all we need to do, I think, at this point is just set okay status to be this function, right? Well, let's see if Gemini will do this. So given the following setup, where I've implemented okay status, implement the Haskell functions, canceled status, unknown status, etc. for each one listed. I forgot to paste, I think. Did I? Let's try this again with no context. All right, this looks promising. But will it compile? Yeah. Okay. So my original implementation had a couple of bugs, which I would have caught if I had tried to compile. But now let's see if it. Yeah. So the Gemini stuff totally worked. That was mildly easier than doing the Emacs macros for it. And then I guess maybe like the last thing I'll do before I quit, since I'm having a hard time talking, is this parse or die. Download page or die. I'll try implementing a version that doesn't die, but instead does what? Is it like this? Either p.status, something like that. Let's see if that type is correct at all. So here, instead of doing error, I would do left of, and then pick one of these messages. I guess invalid argument. And I need to import whatever this is. Import status. And also let's make sure that we are depending on it. And I'll say the message will be can't parse URL, and then whatever the URL was that was passed in. And URL is a string, and I have to figure out how to take a string. Let's try Hoogle. So just some function that takes a string and returns a text. Pack. Def message is not a thing. Rock on. But that I think this was not compiling the wget one. So I guess I have two download pages. So I have this version that does what? Oh, okay, so I guess download page or die calls the download page. I'll call this download page or error. Variable, not in scope. So do I import text stuff at all? Data.text. No module text is imported. Are you sure? I thought I just added this. Is it data.text.pack? I guess it is. All right. So it's imported as text, just to be a little bit less verbose. And then it doesn't like the fact that I'm trying to concatenate these things. But I think the workaround there is that I'm passing it a string literal anyway, so that was bound to fail. So let's try it this way. With I don't know how I want to. I already have $1 sign. How many dollar signs are reasonable? And how many parentheses are reasonable? I think maybe that works. Okay. And then this, whatever I did here, I don't think this was the right thing to do. We're definitely going to do I/O either way, right? But I guess, do I want either? Do I want either on the outside? I feel like I/O has to be on the outside for it to be monadified. But let's see what the error says. So the actual type is either status B0. So let's try that. All right, so let's try just looking up on the internet. Haskell either IO. So here's an example. Oh, you know what? I have to do. No. What? First of all, did I do right instead where I should have? No. Okay. So if we have this, it should be. So here they have either missing error or string. And down here, we have nothing. Or hmm. In the case alternative, yeah. So what if I try returning something? First of all, shouldn't this be like that? What if I tried returning a string? Yeah, so it doesn't like that either. So it says couldn't match type either A0 with IO. So I'll say write a Haskell function that does IO and either returns a, let's say, string or prints to the console. So this is IO string. Okay, no. I mean, it should have two cases. In one case, it prints, and in the other case, it returns a string. What are you doing? What are you doing, Gemini? It should use either. Shouldn't there be some IO? Shouldn't there be an IO monad in there? I don't think Gemini knows what it's doing. So this is doing. Okay. No, you don't know what you're doing, Gemini. I don't believe you. You're a liar. That's ChatGPT. I don't want it to return either string. The right case should not return anything. It should just print. Why is what I'm asking really so hard? It should have two. Let's try afresh. It should have two cases. There's left and right. In the left case, it should return an error string. In the right case, it should print to the console and return nothing. Yeah, okay. IO of either string or, yeah. So do I need to call return? Maybe I need to recall return. Is that what I'm not doing? Yeah, okay. I just needed to call return apparently. All right, so instead of returning a string though, we're gonna return whatever this is called, like the empty type. And I'll return like that. And then maybe I'll try ChatGPT. I have this Haskell line with a couple of dollar signs and a couple of parentheses. What's the best way to handle the grouping without looking too ugly? I guess I'll say. I guess I can do the composition thing. Is there any? I guess there's not really any downside. Is that better? Applied to too few arguments. Well, whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we at least have some. Now we have some error type and we know how to use it. That's better than where we were. And I think I'll leave it there. So I guess next time or next week, I'll take a stab at just improving how we're working with the job queue in the database. I would do that today, but it's just a little bit hard to talk. So hopefully I will feel better after the weekend.